Welcome to People Want to Know, an immigration segment where we take your social media questions and attorney Jessica Dominguez answers them. Welcome to this amazing attorney and also beautiful mom. Thank you for being again with us week after week answering immigration questions.
Thank you, hijo. I'm so happy to be here and thank you for your kind words.
Last month, we went over the I-601A waivers and basically went over if you apply, how to qualify, and the forms and the steps and the process that you need to take. Take a look at these videos right here to be able to see those videos. Click on them, like them, share them, subscribe. This month, what we're going to be going over is basically to all those legal permanent residents out there in the United States that would like to apply for U.S. citizenship and would like to know the process that you need to go through. That's what we're going to be going over today.
Yes, and we chose this topic, JP, because as we were speaking about the I-601A waivers, we received many questions from people saying, wait, I'm a legal permanent resident. Why can't I qualify? The reason why is because that program is specifically for immediate relatives of U.S. citizens. So if you're a legal permanent resident, this is the time to learn how to become a U.S. citizen.
Great, thank you for sharing that. To start this month off, we're going to be going with the question from Emily in Wisconsin. And she says, I am a U.S. citizen and I helped my husband become a legal permanent resident 4 years ago. He wants to become a United States citizen. Her question is, what are the requirements he has to meet?
Well, GP, I talk to people daily who are legal permanent residents and want to become U.S. citizens.
Right.
And the first thing that I tell them to do is to go to the USCIS webpage that you are going to see here on screen. It is so important that you go to that webpage because they have a really good explanation as to the requirements and the steps that need to be taken. But today I'm going to share with you 5 of the basic requirements.
Great. I'm sure that's very simple. It's the magic number here on People Want to Know, 5. So let's go over number 1. What's the first basic requirement?
The person applying must be 18 years of age or older.
Great. Okay, let's move on to number 2. That's very simple. 18 years of age to qualify. Punto. Let's go. Number 2.
The person must be a legal permanent resident for at least 5 years, or if they're married to a U.S. citizen, then the requirement is only 3 years before they can apply for citizenship.
Okay, great. Number 3.
The person applying must be able to read, write, and speak English. And they also have to have knowledge of U.S. history and the government of the United States.
Do they have to know the basics of English or they have to be fluent in English?
They don't have to be fluent as long as they can read, write it, and also speak it at the time of the interview. That's important because the immigration officer is going to be asking those questions in English.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Let's move on to basic requirement number 4.
Which I believe it's one of the most important requirements. Good moral character. You must be a person of good moral character. What does this mean? If you have ever been arrested, if you have any type of convictions on your record, you should have those records analyzed by an immigration attorney who specializes in criminal law as well. Because before you apply, you need to realize that even though you're a legal permanent resident, that word permanent, it's kind of deceiving because you're not a permanent resident. If you have a misdemeanor on your record after you became a legal permanent resident, you could be sent to deportation proceedings if you committed, let's say, a domestic violence. If you have anything else on your record, that could also be used against you. Now, a lot of people tell us, JP, well, I had an arrest many years ago, so that should count against me. Well, let me tell you that the officer has the discretion to go back as many years as they have to when they're considering your application. So please do not apply if you have any type of record. Seek assistance before you submit your application.
Great, thank you for sharing it. Definitely get your case analyzed if you have any criminal history. Let's move on to, last but not least, basic requirement number 5.
Well, the basic requirement, it's not a requirement per se, but it's mainly the next step they have to take, which is submit an N-400 application.
Right.
And this application is 10 pages.
Right. If anyone's wondering why I'm smiling right now, is because that looks like a whole lot of directions that I have to read very carefully, correct?
Lots of instructions, lots of instructions, and you must read every single one of them.
Absolutely.
But also, GP, a lot of people write to us, or a lot of people that I meet with, they say, I don't remember what I said when I became a legal permanent resident. I don't really remember the answers that I gave. In order for you not to apply with information that could be considered misrepresentation or a lie under immigration law, my suggestion is take your time and order your FOIA. The Freedom of Information Act allows you to get a copy of your file This is the form here on screen, G639. You can order your file at no cost from U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and in that way you can review what happened during your interview at the time that you became a legal permanent resident. You can review the evidence, the dates that you gave at that point, but what you do not want to do is just apply and get bad negative results because you don't remember what happened during your original interview.
Well, thank you for sharing the 5 basic requirements. Just go over them one more time. What's number 1?
Well, let's see if he has learned. What's the first requirement I gave,
The
JP?
first requirement is to be able to prove that you're 18 years of age.
Very good.
Let's see if you know. What's number 2, Attorney Jessica Dominguez?
The person applying must be a legal permanent resident for at least 5 years, or if they're married to a U.S. citizen, the requirement is only 3 years. What's number 3?
Be able to read, write, and speak English. And let's see if you can help me finish that one out.
Knowledge of U.S. history and the government.
Right, because you will be tested on it on a later date. Let's go with number 4.
Good moral character.
And number 5 is fill out the form N400. Okay, so we just reviewed the 5 requirements. Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to tell everyone out there that there are many benefits to a legal permanent resident becoming a U.S. citizen, JP.
There are many benefits. Like what?
Well, we don't have time to go over them today, but I can be here next week.
Well, you just heard it. Next week on People Want to Know, Attorney Jessica Dominguez will be here right next to me, my beautiful mother, to go over the 5 reasons to become a United States citizen. And we'll see you here. Make sure to share, like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can only do this with your help. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.